me on. I always appreciate being here.
Today we're going to be breaking down one of the most high-profile cases we've seen in the last year, and that is the case, or I really should say cases, against Luigi Mangione. The 27-year-old is facing a total of 20 counts across state and federal courts, all linked to the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The counts span from murder to stalking to terrorism, and there's also gun-related charges in there. We're expected to see Luigi Mangione in court later this month for the New York State case. But to start off the conversation, can you break down the state and federal cases for us, and what are some of the differences?
Sure. So there are currently two different states that have cases against Mr. Mangione, and there's a federal case pending in the Southern District of New York. As far as the Pennsylvania case goes, again, there's Pennsylvania and New York cases against him. Pennsylvania seems to take a backseat to all this because he was arrested for charges of having a false ID and a firearm. But those are much, much lesser charges compared to those in New York, one of which is obviously for terrorism, and in the federal district of New York, which is for murder. So that case is going to take a backseat, and they've even said that we're going to hold off adjudicating this until those other cases have been resolved first. So that's the first thing to know, really, who's going to be in order. Now, the question is, who's going to get preference as far as New York State or the Southern District of New York? I know that can get confusing, so let's just call this the New York State case and the federal case. New York is vying for the opportunity to tackle this first because the prosecutors want to have their day in court first. Everyone wants to have preference, whereas the federal prosecutors really potentially want to go first. I mean, essentially, they want to have their day in court. So everyone's sort of chomping at the bit to have this done first.
From your perspective as a criminal defense attorney, what do you think the defense wants?
I think the defense wants the federal case to go first. There's a lingering terrorism charge which they have to resolve in the state case, and we'll get to that in a minute. But the federal cases tend to take a lot less time. They tend to move a lot quicker. And then there's the issue of the death penalty to resolve, which they're currently in the process of resolving, what the death penalty is going to be sought and whether there are certain aggravating factors that will allow the government to pursue the death penalty. To resolve the death penalty issue first is probably most important, because if the death penalty is assigned in that case, there isn't really much more to do on the state's end. You can't get two death penalties in a certain case. And getting life when there's already a death penalty makes no sense. It's a waste of time. So I believe they want to resolve that first. There also is the issue of the terrorism charge. Terrorism involves the coercion of a populace using murder, kidnapping, or some other heinous violent crime to essentially coerce a population of a certain idea or ideal. That is a very contentious issue on the state side. And they want to resolve the federal issues before going to that, for resolving those